Our health reporter, Nicola, who joins us now. And Nicola, we keep hearing about people who are asymptomatic but have coronavirus. What does this mean for countries' plans to reopen when there could be potentially thousands of people walking around who have coronavirus but don't have symptoms and don't even know that they're sick?
Well, it's very worrying, Rachel, really, isn't it? Because we all thought that if you had the fever, the cough, the loss of smell and taste, you obviously had symptoms, you were sick, you stayed at home. But a study that was actually published in a British medical journal, Thorax, today, has actually shown that many people can have the virus, can test positive, and have absolutely no symptoms whatsoever. It was quite an interesting study. It was done by Professor Alvin Ng, who's a professor of cardiovascular and respiratory illness in Australia. And he was actually one of the people who was on a cruise ship around the Antarctic. Now, I spoke to him via email last night, and he was telling me that as everybody actually got onto this ship, they were tested, they had their temperatures done, they had all the health checks, they were supposedly free of coronavirus. But on day 8, one person became sick. They then had to effectively create what was like a hermetically sealed environment where they were kept on board, most of them for 28 days, except for those who were so ill they had to go to hospital. And they tested everybody on that ship. And the figures are quite amazing. Of the people who were tested, 81% of them who tested positive had absolutely no symptoms whatsoever. They didn't know that they were ill. So whether they'd come on board with the ship with the virus, whether they caught it from the person who initially had come on board with the ship with the virus, they really didn't know. And the editor of this journal, Thorax, Professor Alan Smythe, said this really does have quite long-term implications, because we need to know how much of the population does have this virus. Initially in March, the WHO thought it would only be 1% who would be asymptomatic. But from this one experiment, this one not planned experiment on this cruise ship in Antarctica, as I said, to repeat, 81% of those who tested positive had absolutely no symptoms.
Well, that is remarkable. Testing is so important. You can just imagine how many people have had it and didn't even know. Nicola Hill, thank you so much.